Good afternoon. The respected Honorable Dato Shri Najib Tun Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia, respected Honorable Shri, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, respected ministers, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Times of India Group and the Economic Times, it's my honor and privilege to extend to you all a very warm welcome to the Asian Business Leaders Conclave. Our special thanks to the esteemed chief guests, the Honorable Malaysian Prime Minister and the Honorable Indian Prime Minister, for extending their support towards making this conclave a grand success. It's the inaugural edition of this very important initiative, and the encouraging participation from across Asia strengthens our confidence that we have taken the right first step towards creating a platform that can help achieve the dream of a boundaryless Asia. At the outset, I believe that the timing for this conclave couldn't have been better. We are witnessing an important economic phenomenon of Asia emerging from the shadows of the West to develop and sustain itself as a significant economic entity, which the entire world and the globe is looking up to. The unification and cooperation which we have seen in the last decade in an otherwise highly volatile trade and business environment makes Asia as the next cornerstone of trade in the world. From the Middle East to the Indian subcontinent, to Southeast Asia and the People's Republic of China, economic cooperation and trade amongst Asian nations is arguably at its highest levels in history. And it is the multilateral cooperation amongst the nations that has paved the way for business leaders to navigate any political and social-cultural differences to build Asia as one of the most sought-after business destinations. With the region slowly cementing its positions as one of the most lucrative destinations to set up new businesses and establishing itself as the gateway to major economies of the region, there is a renewed business interest from across the world to make their presence felt here. When we looked at countries beyond India to host the inaugural edition of the Asian Business Leaders Conclave, Malaysia came out as the preferred destination because it is at the cusp of one of the most radical transformations in its history. The changes are evident in political, public, and more importantly on the business front, with Malaysia ramping up its efforts to achieve the Vision 2020. It is strategically located in the heart of Southeast Asia, offering a cost-competitive location for investors intending to set up offshore operations. From manufacturing to distribution to technical expertise in the services sector, the country offers opportunities and capabilities across the value chain. Whether the investors want to utilize Malaysia as their target market or as a regional gateway, the country has been very successful in creating a conducive business environment for businesses to thrive. As an organization that comes from India, I can truly vouch for the optimistic state of affairs in our nation and the tremendous efforts taken by the present leadership to energize the economy. We see great strides undertaken to boost the ease of doing business as well as encouraging Indian businesses to look beyond. Additionally, the Malaysia-India connection is something a few can afford to ignore. India's Look East policy, coupled with transformation happening in Malaysia, certainly opens up avenues to further energize and elevate the already strong trade partnership between our two nations. The recent interactions between the two great leaders present here today cement the intention of coming together to make a strong impact on the region. The conclave, in its first edition, aims at bringing together business leaders from across Asia to deliberate and discuss key agendas and challenges faced in navigating the business boundary across the regions. I encourage you all to leverage this conclave as a business platform for advancing our collective business needs to make Asia a thriving region for trade and commerce in the world. In conclusion, I wish you every success in your deliberations and a very successful conclave. Before I step down, I would once again like to thank our esteemed chief guests for taking time out for their extremely busy schedules and providing us with the encouragement for this very important initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak Lamba, for setting the tone and note for today's conclave. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to invite our chief guest all the way from India, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, to kindly deliver this special address.
His Excellency Dato Sri Mohammad Najib ji, Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, members of the management of Economic Times, business leaders, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to jointly inaugurate the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave 2016 with His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Malaysia. The fact that the Economic Times has chosen Kuala Lumpur as the venue for this conclave proves the importance of Malaysia as a commercial and business destination. My best wishes for the conclave. Friends, under the leadership of His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Malaysia is moving towards its goal of achieving developed country status by 2020. It has also shown resilience in coping with the global economic situation. The timeless ties between India and Malaysia are reinforced by the presence of a large Indian community. The recent symbol of our historic links is the Toran Gate in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, which connects two great nations and two great cultures. In recent times, we have forged a strategic partnership. My visit to Malaysia in November last year served to reinforce this strategic engagement across a range of areas. Close relations with Malaysia are integral to the success of our Act East policy. India's initiatives, including a project development fund and line of credit, have given a huge flip to India-ASEAN cooperation. Friends, the leaders of ASEAN countries have laid effort for better integration among the countries of the region. These initiatives to bring the business leaders of Asia together is therefore very, very timely. I've said on many occasions that the 21st century is the century of Asia. Asia, where there are hands to work, homes to consume, and heads have the humility to learn. Despite unfavorable and uncertain global economic environment, the growth prospects of the Asian region have been a ray of hope remain bright. Friends, India is currently witnessing an economic transformation. It is not only one of the fastest growing large economies in the world, it is also marked by initiatives centered around ease of doing business, making governance transparent and efficient, reducing regulatory overburden, presently cleaning the system from black money and corruption is very, very high on my agenda. This goes closely after digitization and introduction of GST. The outcomes of our efforts are visible from India's global rankings on various indicators. India's rank has gone up in World Bank's Doing Business report. We are fast closing the gap between business practices in India and the best in the world. We are ranked third in the list of top prospective host economies for 2016-18 in the World Investment Report 2016 released by UNCTAD. Our rank improved by 32 positions in World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report 2015-16 and 2016-17. We improved 16 places in Global Innovation Index 2016 and 19 positions in the World Bank's Logistics Performance Index of 2016. We have opened up new sectors for FDI and enhanced caps for existing sectors. Our concentrated efforts on major FDI policy reforms continue, and conditions for investment have been simplified. The results are therefore all to see. Total FDI inflows in the last 2.5 years have touched $130 billion. Highest ever FDI inflows were received during the last year. The increase in FDI equity inflows in the last 2 financial years was 52% as compared to previous 2 financial years. Sources and sectors in which FDI is coming have also greatly diversified. Our Make in India initiative, which celebrated its 2nd anniversary this year, is aimed at making India a global hub of manufacturing, design, and innovation. I would like to highlight some of our achievements. We have now become the 6th largest manufacturing country in the world. Our gross value added in manufacturing has recorded a growth of 9.3% in 2015-16. 51 cold chain projects have been completed in the last 2 years, and 6 mega food parks have been opened since 2014. 19 new textile parks have been sanctioned, and 200 new production units have come up in existing textile parks in the last 2 financial years. This year saw 90% jump in number of mobile phone units manufactured in India. Leading global players in the auto sector have stepped up various new assembly lines and greenfield units. Friends, our efforts to ensure ease of doing business in India have been comprehensive and wide-ranging, including legislative and structural. I'm happy to share that the constitutional amendment for goods and service tax, GST, has been passed. This is expected to be implemented in 2017. We are moving towards a digital and cashless economy. Our licensing regime has been greatly rationalized. We have launched single window interface for registering a business, exim clearances, and labor compliances. Procedures involved in getting utilities like water and electricity are being simplified. An investor facilitation cell has been created to guide and assist the investors. Our partnership with the state governments has also enhanced considerably since the launch of Make in India. In association with the World Bank, the states were ranked on the basis of their business policies and procedures on agreed parameters in 2015. This was further expanded in 2016. We have adopted for the first time ever a comprehensive national intellectual property rights policy to lay out future roadmap for intellectual property. We have also taken major steps to kickstart the process of creative destruction. We are making it easier for companies to restructure and exit. The enactment and implementation of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code is a crucial step towards ease of exit in India. New commercial courts are being set up to fast-track resolution of commercial disputes. Arbitration laws have also been amended to fast-track the proceedings. Friends, India is currently buzzing with entrepreneurial activity like never before. Startups are the next big economic force in India and are no less than a revolution. Our Startup India program aims to unleash our potential in this area. Our economic process is being geared towards activities which are vital for generating employment or self-employment opportunities. This is the only way to reap the demographic dividend. Through the Skill India initiative and its various components, we are trying to synergize the skills to the market requirements. Building futuristic infrastructure is the biggest task at hand. We are developing a pentagon of industrial corridors across the country. There is immense focus on removing the logistic constraints across the country. Roads, railways, ports are being upgraded across the country. To finance such infrastructure, we have set up the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund in collaboration with foreign funds. Friends, this is a time for integration. Integration cannot happen without openness. India has always been open at the heart. Now, at the level of economy also, we are among the most open and integrated economies. We welcome those who are not there in India so far. I personally assure you that I shall be there when you need me. India is not only a good destination, it is always a good decision to be in India. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sincere thanks to the Honourable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. Thank you for those encouraging words and for adding value to this forum today. Your presence here with us has indeed made this truly an Asian leadership platform. Ladies and gentlemen, now it gives me great pleasure to kindly request our chief guest, the Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, to deliver the keynote address.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, Minister Datuk Sri Mustafa, High Commissioner, Mr. Deepak Lamba, President Times of India Group, distinguished participants, guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank both our counterparts in other Asian governments and the organizers for inviting me to join you at this inaugural edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave. To many viewers on Facebook and the Indian News Network who are watching this live event, namaste. This landmark conclave brings together many of Asia's foremost business leaders to discuss ways to ensure that the region remains the most thriving center for trade, investment, and doing business in the world. I am indeed delighted that it is taking place right here in Malaysia. For by choosing Malaysia as a venue, this conference is recognizing that from manufacturing to distribution to technical expertise in the services sector, this country offers opportunities and capabilities across the value chain. Whether investors want Malaysia to be their target market or to set up here to take advantage of our being a regional gateway, companies and individuals will find so many opportunities upon their arrival here. We are a politically stable country with a well-developed legal system and attractive incentives for investors. Our economic fundamentals are sound. We posted growth of 4.3% in the third quarter this year. Unemployment and inflation are low, and gross national income has nearly doubled since 2010. Next year, our growth forecast is to be up to about 5%. Favorable prospects are ahead, and the time is right for business and political leaders to come together to support Malaysia's role in building a more unified and resurgent Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, this conclave could not have come at a better time, for Indo-Malaysian relations are at a historical high. Over the last few years, they have been enhanced by our agreement to form a strategic partnership between India and Malaysia, the Malaysia-India Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. We now have extensive channels that cover trade in goods and services, investment, and movement of people between our two countries. They add to the benefits brought by the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement, further facilitating two-way trade, services, investment, and economic relations in general. We have also made important strides in our bilateral relations in a range of areas, including defense and security, as well as in the social and cultural scenes. During the visit, my friend, Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, to Kuala Lumpur in November 2015, in conjunction with the ASEAN East Asia Summits, we agreed to take further steps to enhance our relations. Our focus was on building a well-rounded partnership, and it was made clear during our talks that Malaysia is at the core of India's Act East policy. Those talks were warm, comprehensive, and wide-ranging. And I was truly delighted that Prime Minister Modi and I were able to jointly inaugurate the Torana Gate in Brickfields as a symbol of our friendship. The gate is a gift from the Indian government to Malaysia and has already become a landmark, much admired by visitors from abroad and locals alike. It was erected in the area known as Little India because it was amongst the earliest settlements by the Indian community in Kuala Lumpur. As such, Torana Gate is not only a symbol of the friendship between India and Malaysia, but it's also a symbol of the unity and understanding that exists alongside our unique ethnic diversity in Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, there is great depth and history to the relationship between India and Malaysia. India has been Malaysia's largest export destination in the South Asian regions ever since 1998. From 2003 to 2015, trade increased by more than fourfold. Last year, Malaysia's trade with India amounted to nearly 47 billion ringgit, an increase of 3.5% from 2014. In that same year, India was Malaysia's 10th largest trading partner, 7th largest export destination, and 12th largest import source. And Malaysia was India's 14th largest trading partner, 19th largest export destination, and 15th largest import source. Investment from India has created thousands of jobs in Malaysia, and countless leading Malaysian companies, including Khazanah, Petronas, and Malaysia Airport Holdings, are active in India. In connection with the Indian government's plans to roll out GST in 2017, we're happy to share our own experience of GST introduction with a high-level delegation from India that visited Malaysia recently. Though we deal in different geographies and face varied challenges, we share a mutual resolve to provide a transparent and predictable tax regime as well as protection to intellectual property rights. And we have both gained from sharing our observations and expertise in these areas. Such interactions are clearly to the benefit of both our countries, and they are in the spirit of this conclave, which is moving towards a borderless Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, as well as the dialogue mechanism at the ministerial and official level, we are also cooperating closely on counter-terrorism matters. We are united in condemning terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Malaysia is willing to share the integrated de-radicalization module for terrorists with other countries, including India. I myself have long experience of working with the Indian government, both in my past capacity as Defense Minister and as Prime Minister, to bolster our fight against the common threats we face. Tactical measures like these to ensure continuing cooperation on the security front are an important part of maintaining and building trust and confidence and turning the strategic partnership we signed into a reality that protects both our people. Ladies and gentlemen, it has often been said, and I agree with what Prime Minister Modi has just reiterated, that the 21st century is set to be the Asian century. In many ways, this is already a reality, and we're seeing the construction of new institutions and frameworks that have come from Asia. We have been formulated by Asians or are based on our continent. That is, as it should be, the center of gravity, of power, population, prosperity has long been shifting eastwards. And it is right that we should take responsibility for and control of our own destinies. We seek friendly relations with all, but the days when far-off powers seek to dictate the futures and the policies of Asian countries are over. A borderless Asia is one in which we harness our diversity and work together in an inclusive and sustainable manner. It is one in which we rely on our own innovation to create new technologies, foster our own talent, and set new global standards for corporate governance, productivity, and dynamism. We have youthful and increasingly well-educated populations. We are blessed with many resources, and even in these challenging times for the world economy, we have still been maintaining growth rates that are the envy of Europe and the West. We need to take the next steps to forge stronger inter-Asian ties, to capitalize on what we have in common, to learn from each other, to share best practices, and seek new ways of collaborating to the benefit of all. I'm sure over the next 2 days you will have many fruitful discussions, and that this conference will make a meaningful contribution to Asia being the torchbearer of the global economy in the decades ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, as I come to a close, I would like to highlight the upcoming 25th anniversary of ASEAN-India dialogue relations in 2017. We will fully support events and activities that India is planning to hold in Malaysia as part of the celebrations commemorating this important milestone. I also look forward to visiting India next year to further strengthen the strong ties we have forged together. I hope that the seeds sown by our respective governments will help all business leaders here reap the benefits of a long-standing friendship and partnership. With that, I wish you a very successful conference. Thank you, and terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia. Datuk Sri, I'd like to now perhaps invite you to indulge us with some exchange with Prime Minister Modi ji. Prime Minister Modi ji, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Yes, hi. The forum is open. The hall is waiting to hear a few words from you and, of course, the Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Thank you, Excellency, for your kind remarks, and we are very eager to receive you here in India in 2017. It has indeed been a great pleasure to join you in speaking to the business leaders at this event today. I am confident that our thoughts shared at this conclave will encourage the business leaders in driving and promoting the trade and investment agenda between our two countries. I had a memorable visit to Malaysia last year. We now look forward to an opportunity to welcome you in India to carry forward our cooperative endeavors. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words again. Excellency, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister Modi, for your very warm remarks and for being so upbeat about India-Malaysia relations, about the business opportunities, and even beyond that, about how ASEAN and Asia itself will be the geographical area of the future. May I congratulate you for being a bold reformist, for doing things that a lesser mortal would not have attempted, I think. I wish you every success indeed, because if you are courageous enough to do the reforms, I'm sure you will reap the rewards in due course. And thank you for your very kind invitation to visit India, and I look forward to visit you once again, or rather to visit India and to see some of the exciting things that are happening in India under your strong leadership. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to both Honourable Prime Ministers of Malaysia and India for your time and gracing us with this event. To Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, may I kindly request for you to be remaining on stage while we bid goodbye to Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji. Thank you once again for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly request on stage to join our Prime Minister, Mr. Deepak Lamba, and His Excellency, the Indian High Commissioner to Malaysia, Mr. T.S. Tirumurti, to join the Prime Minister on stage for the unveiling of the Coffee Table Book for the Most Influential Leaders of Asia 2016. The Economic Time acknowledges the contribution of iconic leaders who have, through their sheer dedication, shown to the world that Asia is coming together and rising, and she is on the path to becoming one of the most conducive regions for trade in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the